Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're taking a look at a whole stack of analysis around the Toronto Maple Leafs. They're coming off this really crucial win that happened right after a major internal shakeup.
Right.
And the whole narrative is just shifting so dramatically. The big question is, is this team actually way better than we thought, or is this just a bit of an emotional high?
Well, that's exactly what we need to get into. That's our mission here. We need to dissect what's real and what's, just noise.
Yeah.
We have to find the specific player shifts, the coaching adjustments that actually justify this sudden optimism,
Right.
especially after what a lot of people are calling a disastrous start.
And the source material we have is pretty rich. It gives us a really detailed post-game breakdown of that win against the Ottawa Senators. And maybe more importantly, a huge update on one of the team's biggest stars.
Okay, so let's start with the catalyst.
The catalyst for the change. Because this improvement, it's not a coincidence, right? It happened right after the firing of Mark Seaver and then hiring Steve Sullivan.
It's just undeniable the psychological effect of that. That move, whether it was tactical or just symbolic, it really seems to have lit a fire under the players.
It does.
It feels like an immediate reaction, almost primal. It suggests there was a level of frustration just bubbling under the surface that finally got released.
But we have to look for something tangible, right? A real sign that this is different.
Exactly.
And the thing that really stands out to me in all the analysis is that the emotional spark, the real physical catalyst, it didn't come from the big names, not from the core guys.
No.
It came from a pretty unexpected place, Troy Stecher.
Which is fascinating.
The sources are calling him an absolutely electric player.
Yeah.
And some are even arguing he might be the, quote, best signing, or maybe waiver claim, of Brad Living's whole tenure.
That's just extraordinary praise for a depth guy.
It's massive.
It's the highest praise, really, because it's not just about skill. It speaks to identity. And if you look at what Stecher actually did, it wasn't just, random energy. The sources point to that one aha moment. And it happened after the game was already over.
After the final buzzer, yeah. He's fired up the crowd, he starts a scrum, and he's literally thrown hands.
It's pure emotion, but like you said, the timing is what makes it feel almost tactical.
Exactly. And that connects right back to the team's history, doesn't it?
It does. For, 8 years now? The Leafs have been, as the sources call it, a reactionary team.
They wait. They just wait for the other team to make a move, and then they respond. It's all about the counterpunch.
And Stecher's move was a complete break from that. It was proactive. They'd already won the game. They were composed. And then he goes out and sets a tone, a physical tone for the next time they meet.
And that proactive element is what this team has been missing for so long. You need that kind of spark to really get the Battle of Ontario going again, to get that heated rivalry back.
Especially in that building, which, let's be honest,
It can be quiet at times.
it can be very quiet. It reminds me a little of that Joffrey Lupul moment back in, 2013? It was that kind of galvanizing thing.
But you're saying this is more than just raw emotion. There are, actual numbers attached to this shift.
There are. The data suggests this shift from reactionary to proactive is real. In the first two periods of that game, their defensive high press went up by almost 18%.
Wow.
So they're forcing turnovers higher up the ice. That is the complete opposite of the sit-back system we saw earlier in the season. They're initiating the action now.
They came out flying, got 2 power play goals. They really brought the game to the Senators.
They absolutely did.
Which, leads us right into the individual, guys, because a proactive system doesn't work if the players don't execute. And this is where it gets interesting, starting with Matias Maccelli.
Right.
He comes back in the lineup, and he's just on fire. 4 points in 4 games. And what's wild is he was a healthy scratch for so long.
So a long time.
Yet his game is described as perfectly suited for the power play.
It really highlights a potential coaching blind spot from before, or maybe just a lack of opportunity. Maccelli's game is all about vision, about distributing the puck in tight spaces.
So you put him on the power play.
And his passing into that high danger area, it just changes everything. This is how you save a season, It's the depth guys stepping up and finally being used the right way.
But speaking of the big names, we did see a really critical shift from Austin Matthews.
Did you?
The analysis said he finally took what looked like a leap. What does that mean in measurable terms?
Well, he had 9 shots on goal in that game.
9.
Which the analysis called a complete rarity. He just wasn't shooting that much before. And it wasn't just shooting more, it was how he was shooting. He was attacking the middle of the ice, forcing the defense to collapse.
Opening things up.
Exactly. It seems like a clear directive. Shoot first. Don't look for the perfect pass. When your best goal scorer takes 9 shots, you're a different team.
And it wasn't only him, the whole roster seemed to contribute. Matthew 9 finally broke his slump, which is a huge deal for secondary scoring.
Huge relief, yeah.
And Chris Tanev, who you barely notice on the scoreboard, was called sneaky good with a +2.
And that +2 is so important for anyone listening. That just means he was on the ice for 2 more Leafs goals for than against.
Which is exactly what you need.
It's that quiet, reliable, two-way hockey that makes a high-pressure system work. It shows everyone is accountable. The execution was just there.
And yet, we have to balance all this excitement with a dose of coaching reality. Because even with the huge win, Coach Biro was definitely not happy with everything.
Not at all. And that's the standard they need. He admitted post-game that he, quote, didn't love the third period.
Right.
We have the direct quote from him. And it's just pure coach speak, but the message is so clear. He said something like, you guys love that hockey. A lot of excitement. Fans like it. Everybody loves it.
Everybody but you.
Everybody but you. I like the first 2 periods, I'll tell you that.
I mean, that's a tough grade. But it tells you the standard has been raised, doesn't it?
It tells you 2 things. 1, the bar for accountability is way higher. And 2, the team let up. They coasted in the third.
Which is exactly that reactionary hockey they're trying to get away from.
And they just can't afford that.
Yeah.
Because the standings, I mean, that's the harsh reality here.
It's the cold water, yeah. The Eastern Conference is very tight. We have to remind everyone, despite this great win, the Leafs are still second last.
They are. But the optimistic take, and the one the analysis leans into, is that they're only 3 points out of a playoff spot.
So the runway is there.
The runway's there, but the margin for error is just razor thin. They have to keep playing this proactive, high-intensity style. No more coasting in the third period.
Well, that sustained effort might have just taken a massive hit. We have to talk about the injury to William Nander.
Yeah.
That immediately sent a wave of concern through the fan base.
Of course it did. He leaves the game, and that's just, it's not ideal.
No.
Even though he's been a little bit, rough as of late, maybe a bit inconsistent.
He's still an absolutely necessary player.
You can't lose him. It destabilizes your entire forward group instantly.
But then the analysis came out, and it feels like a huge sigh of relief. The big update is that the injury seems better than we thought.
Thank goodness. Coach Biro said he's coming on the trip to Detroit for the game on Sunday.
But he did add that little coach's caveat, right? We'll see how he is tomorrow.
Of course. But the fact that he's even on the trip is a great sign. It suggests it's probably just a tweak, not something major or structural.
And the analysis pointed out that he left the game when the Leafs were already way up.
Which points to it being precautionary, right?
Right.
Protecting him because they know it's coming.
Yeah, you have to take any injury news from them with a grain of salt. But if he does miss time, even just a game or 2, the sources say it opens up an opportunity for Easton Cowan to maybe get back in the lineup.
Which would be interesting. Test the depth a little more. But regardless of who's in, the focus has to shift to what's immediately ahead. Because the schedule they're facing is just a gauntlet.
An absolute gauntlet. The next 2 games are a back-to-back, both against Eastern Conference rivals. First up is Detroit, who are right near the top of the Atlantic. That's a real test for this new style.
A huge test.
And then they come home to face New Jersey, who's been struggling. That's a game you just cannot lose.
Can't drop those points.
Yeah.
And that's just the start. If you look at the whole month of January, the sources call it crazy.
Because of the Olympics, right. It condensed the whole season.
Exactly. So the Leafs are scheduled to play 16 games this month.
16.
16 games. They're playing almost every other day for the entire month.
That's just an insane physical challenge. How can a team maintain a high-press, high-energy style with that kind of workload?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? This is the ultimate test of their depth. They'll have to use every single player.
Because if they get tired,
they'll fall right back into that reactionary shell. It's just a natural instinct. They have to manage travel, recovery, and stay mentally sharp to avoid those third-period let-ups.
And this is all happening right before the trade deadline, basically. This next month is the last real month of hockey before the Olympic break, and then the deadline is right after.
The pressure is just immense. They have to rack